I don't want nobody recording. Because why are we recording trauma? Why do we have to see trauma so much for us to like, but that's just to go back to like, that's the stuff that we don't have. That's going to happen regardless. And that's going to keep getting put out, in my opinion, as a distraction.
Welcome back to another episode of The Space We Create, where we gather to show vulnerability in the spaces we occupy. I am your host, Aaila. I have a very special guest. Can you stop looking at me? I have a very special
I like looking at you. It's funny.
Okay, introduce yourself because I can't talk right now.
Hey, everybody, what's going on? Prime here. The Art of Prime on all socials.
Don't say that. I'm going to write it out.
Cool. Never mind. Don't cut that. That's going to get cut.
No, it's not.
So anyway, Prime. My name is Prime. I'm a director, photographer, creator, and
Great debater.
Oh yeah, I could argue damn if I need to. Cancer.
You're a Cancer?
I am.
Wow, that makes so much sense.
June 26, 1991.
Wow.
90s babies.
I'm a Taurus. Am I the only
That's why we clicked off rip. Taurus, Cancers.
That is so true.
Like
because I'm not dating you.
The friendship compatibility of a Taurus Cancer is very like iconic.
It is.
Yeah.
They say like Taurus and Cancer should date, but
yeah,
every time I meet one to date, I'm like
it doesn't
so
work.
Stressed out.
Yeah, we are a lot. We are a lot. Like emotional. We're a lot. We are a lot.
I'm sorry. I still have the giggles in me, so
it's fine. It's fine.
Y'all gotta excuse me.
Cool.
But yeah, this is a great episode. So I was telling them earlier, like I never really have a topic because usually whenever I get people, like whenever I walk down and people start coming up, they're already like talking about something that'll have me like, okay, that'll be a good topic. So the topic is boredom.
Ooh. I'm ready for this now.
Boredom and the ATL. Wait, so he's from up north. By the way, we got two up north.
DMV,
cats
already
in here. So our perspective and opinion is very valid.
Very valid. Very valid. I'm a very firm believer that we just kind of do things first.
We really do.
And faster. Mm-hmm. And then it comes down through the pipes to everybody else. And yeah.
And then they swear they be doing it first, which is so crazy.
For sure. Absolutely.
Because everything out here is behind. The driving.
Oh, my God. Well, that's the one thing that I will say is
a good thing.
Atlanta was the first place that I ever came to where nobody drives the speed limit. Back home, niggas is getting tickets.
Right.
There's cameras at
everywhere.
Every exit, every red light, you come to Atlanta and on the highway it says 65 miles an hour.
I'm doing.
Everybody's
I'm not
doing
gonna tell you what
85.
I'm doing, but yes.
Everybody. No, it's fine. You can say it. Everybody's doing it.
I do the speed limit.
The speed limit is the flow of traffic in Atlanta. And that was
that is so true.
That was very like, okay, this is different. I said earlier that Atlanta reminds me a lot of like The Sims.
Okay.
Like somebody just kind of just threw it together.
Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh.
And then like put all these people here and like just, they're also like walked away from the computer. Like, right as soon as they finished it, they like walked away.
Leave it like that.
And then they come back like periodically to just like add different things. But they also like don't fix the other stuff that they like put here before. Yeah, it's really like.
What if that's real? What if we are really in a simulator? And people just like moved all of the pieces like this. And now we're here.
Y'all see how I'm looking into this? I have to like I'm I'm looking into the camera, but I'm also looking past the camera because I'm looking at somebody else who I had this conversation with recently about life being a simulation. But I'm just letting you guys know that you need to pay attention. Cool, that's it.
It's the glasses pulled down.
Yeah,
it's
no, I had to get
deep
serious
like
about that for a second because, like,
I be feeling like that all the time.
Even just you saying that, and like, there's a lot that's like happening in the world right now, and like a lot of things that I feel give like a lack of realism, but like somebody wrote it, or like it's like being played out, and you know, sometimes I just think that people should take the time to pay more attention to the fact that it might give simulation. Not to sound, you know, but
no, I really believe that we're
something
in
to
a
think about.
simulation.
Cool.
So many things just don't make sense, and they make sense at the same time, and everything is just so strange to me. Which is why what I was saying to him earlier about like when I always have these. I honestly used to think that I was going through like manic episodes, even though I'm not diagnosed with bipolar. I would feel like I'm going through these episodes because I would be so disconnected from what's happening that, and I'm an Aquarius moon. So my Aquarius moon, my emotional side is always
You be
like,
up out of there.
and my emotional side is like, I gotta go somewhere else. Like, I can't deal with this.
Air signs gotta go.
I need to abort mission.
If it's one thing I've learned about air signs, they gotta go.
I don't like this. I need to move somewhere else.
They're light. The wind blow, see ya.
Yeah, but my Taurus side is always like, no, just stay here.
Grounded as fuck.
Like, do this. But right now, my air sign is definitely overpowering because now I think I'm at a point where I'm just overly overwhelmed and I can't take the other shit anymore, that I would prefer to just go away for like some time, which is what I'm doing next year.
Where do you think that comes from? Do you think they're like, outside looking in, it feels like you're like focused on the wrong thing? Because like, I understand being overwhelmed, right? But I think when your like overwhelmingness becomes overwhelming, it's probably because like there are things that are like pulling your focus that are like draining you versus like things that are pulling your focus that are like fulfilling you.
Yeah, for sure. Fuck you.
I'm a very big person on like being fulfilled and like feeling needed and feeling like wanted, and like I don't like feeling drained or feeling like used, even though, and probably more so because I'm such a like giving, open person. Like I'm very selfless. I can just, if it's mine, it's yours type of vibe. And being like that lets you see a lot of like people's true self. Especially when you're like that all the time. Like I'm not a jaded person. Like I can fall in love over and over and over and over and over again for whatever stupid ass reason. I can get into any situation where like somebody violates me or treats me wrong, and I'm gonna go and trust another person again and go through the same situation again and everything, more so because it's like I'm always gonna give. And I feel like that's what I also expect from people, or like think everybody else is gonna be selfless as well. And then you learn that that's not really the case. So you have to like guard yourself a little bit more. Which kind of like comes back around to like the whole boring thing. It's like once you do start guarding yourself, unfortunately, you realize how like boring everything is because you're not using a lot of the superficial things that we use, I feel like, to like not feel bored, especially here in Atlanta. And then it just becomes like, okay, cool. Like people are doing a lot of things to like feel better, to like not think about the fact that they don't really have anything, or they don't know how to be selfless, or they don't know, like, I don't know. It's very interesting, especially living in Atlanta and being from up north, and like being from a space where like it's every man for themselves, literally. Like being from up north, people, you know, like we don't have Southern hospitality. Like
Right.
people don't just talk to each other and you come to a place like that and it's, people are a lot more willing to like take from you though.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
And not give you anything in return.
That was definitely a good
Versus like,
perspective.
when it's an every man for themselves situation, people are a lot more willing to like, if you give me something, I'm gonna give you something.
Yeah. Damn, that is so true. That is so fucking true.
I don't know.
I didn't even think about it like that, and that is such a good perspective.
Yeah, but I talk to a lot of my friends back home still, so I think that's why I'm still like tapped into that, because that's the relationship that we have, and that's the relationship that I kind of like brought with me down here to like have with my new group of friends that I have now that I'm in Atlanta.
Yeah.
And yeah, definitely pays off.
I love that. That was really a good fucking perspective, though.
Thanks.
That it's easier for them to take from you.
I mean, when you're in an environment where like everybody's kind of
Let's
always
cheers to that
taking.
perspective before you try to take your
Cheers.
sip. Cheers to perspective.
Cheers to perspective.
He's drinking that straight, y'all.
It's not straight. It's there's definitely it's just that I don't
See
like
how you're
juice.
stuttering?
It's definitely probably
was the
stronger than
stuttering
yours,
for me.
but I just don't like juice and my alcohol.
Okay.
Maybe that's like because I'm older now. I'm 32. If you didn't already do the math when I said I was born in 91.
I put the math.
I stopped putting juice in my alcohol for real, probably like 27,
I have to have juice in it.
28. It's something changed, and it was just like that sugar and alcohol mix
Yeah, it's
is
terrible.
not it.
But that's why I only drink. I'm drinking this because you wanted.
I be
this,
doing Sprite.
But I be doing whiskey, and I'll just drink whiskey.
Tequila
by
and
itself.
Sprite is my jam.
Okay.
Tequila and ginger ale, tequila and Sprite, we good to go.
Yeah, I'm a whiskey and ginger ale.
Soda water, even
So
I can put a little lime. I'm cool.
But my overwhelm really, because my homeboy Juice said this to me the other day too, because he was talking shit, and he was like, you know what? I realized that like a lot of the ways that you think about things really stems from the work that you do. And I was like, I'm glad you realized that, because sometimes I think people forget it, like that I'm a therapist, and so being a therapist, I'm so engulfed in like the changes in the economy, our school system, the impact that the school stuff has on the kids that I work with, and like the lack of access that families have to resources, and like why the fuck isn't people talking about these things? Like, so all of those things will overwhelm me, because I'm like, people don't really want to engage in what the fuck is happening when it comes to like us being in a fucking simulator, and that it's like so many crises around us. And all of those things also, like when we was talking about earlier, like me being a therapist, I want to indulge more in not just therapy, but the history of therapy and the history of psychology and the way that we think. And so I'm always reading stuff from older perspectives and like older people who have passed on.
Yeah.
But it's like I usually take a lot of what they say and apply it in my now, which
I
it
feel
also
like
stresses me out, because I'm trying to make it work.
Even like listening to you now talk about being a therapist, your way of like how you view the world and like why you do what you do is also very interesting for somebody like me, being a Cancer and being so emotionally charged and being so like attached to things like that. Like I'm usually the one who is like, what about everybody else? And like, why is da 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 da? And it's very
Is it funny seeing
telling,
it on
as
someone else?
more so as far as like what you decided to be your career path and like who you're probably like natural, or what your natural personality traits are, don't always necessarily like
Align.
Tauruses are, from what I know,
Talk
are
your shit.
very like
Talk your shit.
they do love people, right? But also it's like,
Fuck y'all.
yeah, because you have to be like immediately here, because at the same time, it's like if I don't know you, or if you're not immediately within my, which is probably why Taurus and Cancers get along, because I'm very much the same way. But the other side of it, the difference is like we believe everything. Cancers believe everything.
Why you say
We're very gullible, like very, very gullible. And I'm glad that more so that like you being a therapist and you learning about therapy has probably, because I didn't know you before this, but in my mind, I feel like it's probably changed a lot about your empathy for the world or for things that don't directly associate with you. I do feel like because of the way that we're also like distant because of the simulation type of vibe, like nobody's actually knowing each other or close to each other or whatever, we have a really good way of like separating ourselves from trauma. Whether it's like world trauma, just shit that's going on in our own backyard or whatever. We were talking about like how young hip hop is earlier, 50 years. And it just makes me think about how young things are in general in terms of how long ago slavery actually was.
Right.
How long ago some of these wars actually were. How long, and it's like, this is all still very new in terms of like human interaction and us actually giving a fuck about each other. Like, it's still, I think we, honestly, as a whole world, we still don't care about each other. But like, compared to how we cared about each other 50 years ago, granted, it's a little bit better, but I think that people a lot of times will like feel responsible. And that's another thing is like, we can't always, that's to go back to your like overwhelming sense. It's like, yes, we can feel empathetic. I can be sad that like bad things are happening to other people at some point in time because bad things be happening to me. And I want people to maybe care about me or be empathetic to my situations. But you don't have to like put the whole burden of the world on yourself or put the burden of like all the things that like I can't carry that. Like I'm one person. Like I still have to like make sure that I'm okay. So like if I'm gonna be overwhelmed, I'd rather be overwhelmed with like all of my own shit rather than being overwhelmed with like how my mind maybe is different than somebody else's. Or like letting other people's actions or feelings or like anything kind of like affect how you are able to feel. That even especially when they're like indirect is like I think a big point in like feeling overwhelmed as people who care about other people. Because you care a lot. I could see it.
I do.
I heard it earlier when we were talking.
And it's because like I've processed my traumas so well, and it's taken me so long that I got to a point where it was like, and I mean I've been in my field for like 11 years, and I started working with kids when I was in high school. So I've always like indulged in work around people. But I think when I got out of the military and I was able to like fully get my feet into my career, it was just eye-opening because of like the different people I worked with. Like I worked with human trafficking survivors, and that shit made me sad. And that was when I was in my early 20s. Right. And so working with them at that time, it was like, oh my God, like this is happening in the world. This is happening domestically and internationally. It's young kids, it's older people. And it just opened my eyes to so much shit. And it got me involved in like learning about the democracy and learning about like just foreign trade and learning about how countries run and how. And so my brain was just like, holy shit, we need to work on all of these things.
I have to fix all of this.
Why are kids dealing with this? Like, no one's seen this lady
especially
outside
when kids
in
are
the
involved.
snow.
Yeah.
No one knew that this was happening.
Nobody knows.
And it just had me on like
also,
a James Baldwin, like I am in a rage most of the time.
There's also a lot of people who genuinely don't care.
And those are the people that stress me the fuck out.
But you have to
because in my mind, I'm like,
you have to be okay with that.
Those
people
people not
can't
care about human life.
But but that's why you're here.
That's why my Taurus side come on and be like,
The reason why other people not caring doesn't bother me is because I care.
Yeah.
Literally, that's point blank period. Like
I think what it really is that the people who don't usually care, like we were saying earlier, are the ones who are in the spaces and have the platform to share a message. And they're not using that message to show that they care. And then you have the people who do care, who are doing the work, who's been out in the field, like, who really, really care. And it's like they don't really value getting clout from making content around the fact that they care. They just want the people to come outside who really care, but people don't really see them. And that shit pisses me off because ban TikTok. Just ban all the social media platforms so people can come back to real life because people have clearly forgot what the fuck is going on.
I do think that like the
so annoying.
Facade of social media
so annoying.
Has tainted people's empathy for the world. But I do think that on the opposite side, it's like, I feel like it's a way of like weeding things out.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like you have to think about how we've gone through like time and like different things happen and different things change and like technology changes and like society changes and like in very much like the sense of Darwinism and like things are gonna change and like certain people aren't gonna make it that much further. For example, once racism is over, it was like it's really gonna be hard to like be publicly racist anymore. Like even now, you can still be publicly racist, but it's like
you get your ass beat.
You probably gonna get your ass beat. You probably might get canceled. You probably might not have your career no more.
Yeah.
Whatever. And it's like same. Like it's just gonna be more and more things that are like weeding individuals out in terms of like who is supposed to continue creating. Mm-hmm. And that's like in all aspects in terms of like creating life, creating art, creating and who's not.
Yeah.
Because it's like there's a show. I'm not gonna.
It's the fact that you just adjusted. So
I know,
whatever you're about to say,
there's
it's
a show
about
I can't.
to get
I don't want to like
real.
promote it or nothing like that. So I'm not.
Oh
but
God,
it's
am
a
I
show
gonna
on
know
Netflix.
it?
It's a show on Netflix and it's about like aliens in space and shit like that. But anyway,
okay.
They talk about there's a part where they talk about like the progression of mankind. Like the aliens are talking about like why they have to be here or why they have to get here to take over before a certain time or whatever the case may be. And a lot of it has to do with the fact that mankind progresses very fast. First it was 100 years, then it was 80, then it was 60, then it was 40, and then it was 20. And it's like every time we learn something, we learn it a little bit faster. Mm-hmm. And also we do get a little bit better and a little bit more than bad people. Eventually, once we get to like so many thousands, it's going to be a few generations, maybe a couple, but eventually in my mind, shit is going to be like damn near perfect because we're going to keep like, like when water be going through a filter and you keep like filtering and filtering and filtering and filtering we kind of like keep going through this like filter where like more dirt is getting filtered out and we have like cleaner water. And it kind of is like, are we going to get clean first so that like we don't lose the planet or are we going to lose the planet before we get clean? That's kind of like where we are right now, especially with like, for real, like the way that the planet is going in terms of like how we take care of it and like things that, it is. I can imagine.
That is so.
I can imagine. If we don't get clean soon enough, it's gone. Period.
I be thinking, I'm glad someone else thinks about that because I be like, and I always say this to people and they be looking at me crazy. I think it's because I'm just older, but I always say like I want to experience being a great grandmother, which means that I have to have kids who have kids. Mm-hmm. And that's the other thing with me being overwhelmed is thinking about like, what life am I gonna have for the life that I want to bring into the world? And like, I want people to care about them. I want them to be, because it's not just them. It's gonna be the groups that they're around, the schools that they're in, the people that they're connecting with. And it's like, if everyone else is dumb, not saying everyone is dumb, but if everyone else is dumb, then that means that my kids are gonna be like, they're gonna have my influence, but they're gonna have majority of their influence as well.
Yeah.
And it's just gonna be like,
I think that's probably one of the scariest things about bringing a child into the world. We know that we're going to change our generation. So what's not to say that that's not going to fall into the legacy? Because one thing that I have started to see is that, like, especially with Black people, like, when we start something legacy-wise, it's going to continue. So, like, now that we are in a lot more of a place where, like, Black people have a lot more money and access and things like that, it's like, I feel like these are these are the better times for us to be like trying to change things, especially if you have kids or like a family, because like it's going to continue. Like if you're in a place of power, that's it. There's no reason for that to not transfer over to your children, like over time. Yeah. Even when we think about, like I think about, for example, like the Smith family. Generations down the line, like that's gonna be like a prominent family in the same way we look at like the Vanderbilts or like the Rockefellers or like people like that. And like, because now we have like established Black wealth that's about to, an even better example is like the Carters. Like, the Carters are essentially, in 100 years, 200 years, the Carters are going to be the Vanderbilts. But, like, the Black version.
Yeah, I can see that.
So, very much like that. And it's like, we kind of do need to procreate as Black people because...
We really do.
We're going to have that come 100, 200 years from now. Granted, if, we still have this planet. But, yeah.
Because people don't think about that, like, that your lineage will just die out. Like there won't be any.
There won't be anything.
There won't be any more.
There won't be anything left of you to remember.
That's why I'd be overwhelmed. Are we not thinking about this?
I mean, like
we need more of us to exist.
But artists forever. So that's maybe I always knew that in some type of way, even when I was little, just knowing, hey, I'm a little bit artistic or whatever the case may be, but. I mean, one of my biggest things, even with my art, is that I always knew that I wanted it to last after I was gone. Yeah. Like, I wanted it to still be something that, like, inspired people or made people feel something. And the example I use a lot is, like, Virgil. Like, Virgil's been gone years now, and he's still everywhere we look. Yeah. Everywhere we look. Whether it's fashion, music, design, art, like contemporary art, like Virgil is still very much everywhere. And like, that's what I want. That's what art is. That's why Beyonce does what she does. That's what Jay-Z does. That's why a lot of artists do what they do, because it's like, I want to be here. Once I'm gone, I still want to be here. Yeah. And I still want my shit to help people. I still want my shit to like change the world. And like, I still want to leave a legacy. And even if you don't have kids, you can still leave a legacy through your art. Virgil doesn't have any children. Virgil doesn't have he didn't have nobody to like necessarily pass his like personal and actually like material shit onto. But like, we were kind of like all his kids then in that sense, because he created like that art that we all took and we all held onto and we all took with us. And now we're spreading that same shit. And it's like now his name and his word and his message and his like, all that literally is still spreading throughout, and people are still getting inspired, all from him knowing that like my art is gonna leave a legacy. So, yeah.
That's how I feel about Malcolm X.
Period.
I just need to say
Period. No, I mean like,
because that's why my mind be so like, my mind be in a time that I didn't even exist in, which is crazy because it goes back to what you were saying about like how those thoughts and just the things that I've gathered don't necessarily align. And that's what I was telling them too. Like when when I start doing something else, it's gonna incorporate more of my other personality. Well, not my other personality, but like just my other personality.
Yeah.
Like, if anyone has been around me long enough, they know. Like, sometimes my cousins and stuff will watch me and they be like, "Bitch, you just be on there." Like, people just do not know.
You just be doing
and
whatever
I'm
you
like,
wanna
I
do.
know, and I wish people could see the other part of me because I be on my bullshit.
I mean,
Sometimes they just don't align with the more, I don't want to say more serious part, but with the part that I care about the most.
so
Because I want to be on my bullshit. I want to talk about shit. I be on my bullshit.
this is another
It's
good
actually
like
funny as hell.
this is another good like moment, right? Because
Why you lean in and
I
stuff?
have to like because you just talked about like I can tell it's more about like you're funny and silly and goofy and like energetic and like outgoing side, and that has a lot to do with like our childish qualities. And we were I was just talking to Swift the other day about being childish. Like we were talking
'Cause
about
I
being
am so
childish and
childish.
being like Swift is the most childish person I know.
I believe it.
Like literally before we left the house to come
No
here,
shade.
he literally like scared me just for fun. Like turn the lights off. Like I came out the bathroom and like dead ass scared me. Like I
You
like
were scared?
screamed, jumped, all that
Fucking
shit.
crying.
Because I'm also like scary. Like I
Mm-hmm.
be jumping. But anyway, and he knows that. And he knows that it's funny.
Yeah.
And he's like, but also like that's what kids do.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and when you think about like the reason why it's called being child, like kids are like do stupid shit and
stupid
just
shit,
do funny
yeah.
shit and like, but also like the whole thing about being a child is like being happy. You know, like most kids are like always happy
Yeah.
for no reason. Like, and it's like, are you happy? But it's like, there's something in you when you're a kid and you just like, everything is
giddy,
happy-go-lucky.
yeah.
I want to play and everything is like, you got to always have that. I don't think you can, and because you were like, this is like my other, just blend them together, girl. Like it's supposed to be a part of you. Like there's
Yeah.
that's the only thing that's not going to keep you overwhelmed and that's going to keep you happy and that's going to
That's why we
keep
going
you
to the park.
from,
I be going to the park all awkward as fuck, and I be on like the swings and stuff.
there's
I be doing that all the time.
there's nothing wrong with that.
I know it's just I think
That's
my,
gonna
my
free you
dilemma is
more.
really trying to blend the two because my serious side is like, no, there's way too much shit going on.
Do you think kids give a fuck about that shit?
But there's way too much going on where kids don't even have the access to it. Like there's no playgrounds in the hood for kids to be able to engage and connect.
kids
Even
can-
though when you're a kid, you could just
and
be
kids
outside
can-
doing whatever.
That's the
But
point.
it's
But
like,
that's the point. But that's
I
the
want them to have better access to stuff that is quality that they deserve. Like,
Right.
And people don't care to put their money into it. There's too many abandoned communities. There are people on the street sleeping who don't deserve to even experience that when we have all of this housing. We're in an unnecessary housing crisis because people want to put money into the housing. People don't have access to health care or appropriate doctors in their communities. They don't have access to transportation to get further out from their communities. You see, it's just so many things that have me like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
This is not how they should have to exist because they're not able to thrive. And Black people as a culture, we deserve within the pits of our bones to thrive because we created all of this shit. We
Yeah.
are the founders of all of this.
No, you're
I don't want to see a
absolutely
Black
right.
person outside on the street sleeping. They deserve to be in that high-rise condo from that homeless shelter that y'all decided to tear down.
Yeah.
Because y'all didn't want them sleeping on the sidewalk. But it's y'all fault that they're sleeping on the sidewalk anyway. But you don't want to fix the problem that led to them sleeping on the sidewalk.
They don't. I think
So I'm angry. But I'm playful at the same time.
I don't want this to like come off the wrong way. But like
What?
so like I think that like things like that are necessary. Almost in the same way where like rain is necessary for us to have sun. And like I don't think
Homelessness
if we
is
had not necessarily homelessness, but also like like if we didn't have a group of people to look at that was down bad, I don't think people would work hard. Because where do you gotta get what is there to like be like, well, if I don't do this, I'm gonna end up like that.
Your integrity.
That's that but yes, but not everybody's heart is that strong. Some people need like some people need to touch the stove and get burnt. Like,
No, yeah, I'm talking
honestly,
shit, but
most
yeah, I get it.
people need to touch the stove and get burned. And
But then get burned and go back out there and make sure no one else gets burned.
you can't do that.
Yeah, you can.
No, you can't. That is not how
That's why they build shelters.
But I'm
affordable
saying, like,
housing.
it's like fire is always gonna be hot, girl. It's always gonna be somebody stupid enough to try. Like, always. Like, it's like, just like it's always gonna be night, just like it's always gonna rain, just like it's always gonna, like,
That's different.
it's
That's a
very much
terrible
like
comparison.
the evil versus the good of it all. I watch a lot of cartoons. I watch a lot of anime. So, like, that's kind of like, it is very much like the basis of the world. Like, you have good and evil, but both of them have to, like, exist at the same time for it to be a balance. Also, that doesn't mean that the bad is like we like it, because we don't like it. We honestly don't want it to be there. But if it's not there, then, like, we're not even gonna, the good doesn't mean anything, kind of, if that makes sense. Like, even in the way of, like, which I also don't want off to, like, some people are not gonna like this in the new sense of how people think now, because everybody get participation trophies. But in the first movie, The Incredibles, the villain, his whole thing is behind the fact that he wants to make the whole world perfect or special and sell stuff so everybody can be out here and be superheroes and everything like that. Because he says, and I quote, "If everybody's special, then nobody will be." And when I first watched that movie, I took that so much to heart, because I always knew I was special, like, always. And to think about, like, wow, if everybody was special, then there wouldn't be no point in even the word special if everybody was special. Unfortunately, everybody's not special. It's very, even to say it like that, it's like, but, like, everybody is not special.
In our own way.
If you want to say that, that's fine.
Because we all have a purpose.
You're right.
Even the people who are
You're right.
So they're special in their
But special
purpose.
means special for a reason. A purpose. You can have a purpose and still not be special.
I'm just talking shit.
But yes, also in the sense of, like, all the parts in a car are necessary, but, like, if I put a turbo in the car, that's special.
Yeah.
For real, because the turbo is what's gonna make it faster. Or, like, that's really the best example that I can, like, give in terms of, like, just something super generic, like a car. All the parts in the car are for a purpose. Everything to help it be what it needs for you to be, for you to get to point A and point B. Now, once you start souping up the car, you add the spoiler, all those are, like, special pieces. A spoiler is special. Like, that's like, you put the new rims on it, special. Like, and if you look at that, like how you look at people and how you look at kind of like the world, it's like, and that doesn't necessarily mean, especially going back to what we were just talking about, that doesn't mean that I'm speaking in terms of, like, class or how much money you have or whatever. You can be homeless and be special as fuck. Like, special just comes down to the individual and, like, what you have and what you offer. And because back to what you were saying, if you're not offering anything for the world as a whole, and you're just kind of like a cog in the machine, you're not special, because you're just here, existing, and then you're going to be gone. Are you going to change something? Even if it's for 100 people, you change something, you're special. Everybody's not special. So everybody's not doing this.
They're not. And we need more. I actually want there to be more. I need it to be more. Exactly. So then people have more, something to view that's more healthy and positive.
That looks like them and feels like them. And you have it's there.
That inspires them to want more for themselves.
Exactly.
Because there's so much to be had in this fucking world. There's so much to be had. Me personally, I want all that I'm able to obtain. so I can give more. Like, I want all of the money so that I could build schools. I want to build schools so fucking bad.
That's why you're special.
I want to give, like,
Because there are a lot of other
money
people
to hospitals
who want money, but not for that reason. And I wouldn't consider them special.
But those be the people who get the platform, who
But
got the voice because they don't mind the clout.
That doesn't matter.
And now we live in a world of people who want to buy into the
We
wrong stuff.
Listen.
Like, why do I want to buy into that stuff?
I don't think we would have.
Booty hole. Lord Jesus.
There's a lot of things like that if we were worried about, like we wouldn't. I use Tidal, for example, right? Mm-hmm. We wouldn't have Tidal if Jay-Z was more so worried about Apple Music.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And Spotify, in the sense of like there's these people already out here getting everything and doing everything and da 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 da. What was he worried about? I need a platform where artists are gonna get compensated properly for their streams. I want to do something different.
You know what's crazy is that I don't even like make music like that, but I think maybe like last week I had posted on my story like, why don't the artists who complain about the platforms create their own platforms? Because in my mind, like, if I know that there's something wrong that I don't like, I'm going to naturally create something for it.
Exactly.
If y'all make music or you're an actor or actress or whatever, like, why aren't y'all have the platform and y'all have the long money for these things, but you're not creating it. I'm so confused because then you're just complaining about the platform that you're relying on, but you have the money to do it.
They just want to complain, child.
But like, you have the money to make this. Please give me the money because I will make the shit.
It's one
Give
thing.
me the money.
One thing that I've seen recently, especially since COVID, is like we thought people like negativity before. I didn't know the world was so mad for no reason. I'm talking about niggas.
I can't even see your eyes, but I'm like, look at you.
Niggas wake up pissed.
Yeah.
Like, who are you mad at? Mm-hmm. And it shows, like, in the fact that like nobody even wants to do shit.
Yeah.
Like nobody wants to help anybody. Nobody wants to like. Everybody got beef with somebody. Everybody like, even the way how we operate now, in the sense of like, we're more willing to film something than to help somebody. Oh my God. Like as a society, like not us obviously, but like
yeah, people
are more willing to pull out their phone and film first before they call 911. Or even I would rather it be 5 of us standing here and we're all trying to call 911 at the same time and nobody's recording.
Right, yeah.
Rather than like one person's recording and 4, I don't want nobody recording. Because why are we recording trauma? Why do we have to see trauma so much for us to like but that's just to go back to like, that's the stuff that we don't have. That's going to happen regardless. And that's going to keep getting put out, in my opinion, as a distraction, because the negativity is going to keep you from doing things positive. Yeah. Because now you're going to get caught up in the arguing and the da-da-da-da and this, that, and the third. I was literally just yesterday during the eclipse, and I be on Twitter all the time. Just not even tweeting sometimes, just scrolling, reading shit, whatever. More so because the shit is funny. Like, people have to be more funny on Twitter than anywhere else because it's just words. You know what I'm saying? So I love it. Yesterday was probably one of the first days where I was like, every single thing that I ran by was like something negative. It probably because there was so much shit happening at the same time. But like, I had to just get off and just be like, this is, because one negative turns into another. Like, almost like energy is so transferable that like, you know how like laughing is like contagious and like different things, like even the energy of like anger and like stuff like that. And me is like an empath. I know that even more. And a lot of my friends will tell you like, I could be having the worst day ever, but if I'm around people, my light is gonna show. Simply because I know how transferable it is for me to be pissed off and then make everybody else pissed off, and vice versa. So it's like, I'm still gonna be yeah, I'm upset, and like maybe I can talk to you about it or whatever. But I'm not gonna release that energy of negativity, because once it happens, even you don't even think about it. It be happening in the smallest ways, where like somebody walk in and say something, and because you irritated, now you snap, and not even snap, but like you say something smart. And then that person be like, oh, and now you're going back and forth. And then this other person hop in, and then da-da-da-da. And now it's like and the only reason that happened is literally because you were already kind of irritated. And then that person said something that triggered you, but it wasn't even that deep. It could have just been like, they could have walked in and be like, what's good, bitches? And you like, bitches. Who you calling a bitch? Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, and it's normally you would probably be fine with it. But it's like, you just irritated today. And now it's like, it's so transferable. So I think like that's even the more thing about like just the negative energy that surrounds a lot of times will keep people from wanting to do positive, because now it's all we think. It's like, well, nobody cares anyway. Yeah. And everybody's just whatever anyway. So it's like we need people to only care about the good and not be concerned with the bad so that they can focus. And it's like, that's why it's like, don't be overwhelmed by all the negative, because the negative is going to distract you from wanting to do positive, because you're so focused on like, why am I the only one that wants to build the schools? Because you were the one that was meant to build the schools.
I need more.
Why am I the only one? Because you are the only one. I don't want to be
the only one though.
But that doesn't necessarily. You're probably not the only one. You're just
I'm
feeling
sure I'm
like
not.
that. But
I know I'm not the only one. There's a lot of people like.
But when you think like that, it's because it was meant for you.
Yeah.
Like, why me? Why me? Why me?
It's that it's me, and I ain't got the ends to match the goal.
Coming from experience, it's not always the ends. Sometimes it's the connections and the people and putting it out there that you want it to happen.
Yeah. I scheduled a meeting with the mayor. Ain't that interesting?
It's like, so you see how you just like, you over here like, oh, I don't got no means. I don't got no
I be talking shit.
I see, exactly. So you can't be out here saying you don't got the means, because financially we understand what that means. But just everything leads to something.
Yeah.
And just you being like, I'm about to go meet with the mayor. Bitch, I don't know the mayor.
You know the
I mean, like, I do, but it's like, I mean, in the same right, like I probably do know some people who, but right now in this moment, just even with you saying that, I'm over here like, bitch, I don't think I can do that. I probably could, but like I would have never even thought that like, oh, maybe I can make some phone calls and like talk to the mayor and do something or whatever. But that only happens when you want to, because you want to do that. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So like, girl, don't worry about them other people that want to make them schools and make them people happy and do that.
To the
even
community.
You got this space, right? This is perfect, beautiful. It's not even necessarily the biggest space in terms of like, oh, I could have a whole bunch of people in here and really change something. But even being like, I just want to do a little photography class for underprivileged kids. You could fit 20, 25 underprivileged kids in here to learn about photography and videography. Mm-hmm. Next time it's going to be 25 more, and then 25 more, and 25 more, 25 more. And then, 5 years from now, you done put 10,000 kids through college.
That's the goal.
But do you see what I'm saying? Like, we're always thinking so big. And like, even with FKA, my party.
Shout out to FKA.
Shout out FKA. Shout out Zoo. Shout out Splish. Shout out Randy. Shout out my team. When we did that, it was such off a whim. Like, when I tell you, like the blink of an eye type of whim. Like, friends like, oh, let's throw this party. Like, almost in movies when all the friends call each other and they're like, oh, we're going to do this. It happened that fast for the first one. And we didn't even tell anybody. We just invited our friends, shit like that. But then people found out about it and everybody's like, well, what about me? Why didn't you invite me? Da-da-da. Maybe we might, like, in the same way where, like, I don't know if me this small can do something that will impact anything. And you kind of just do it. Not even knowing that, like, people have been waiting for you to do it. People have been waiting to hang out with you. People have been waiting for you to do something to bless the community because they know how much you care about the community. And they were just waiting for you to drop it so they can come support it. And that's what we found out. Literally, we dropped it and started doing it for real. And niggas was like pulling up and being like, whatever y'all doing, we got you. We gonna fuck with you. And we're still like, whoa, like we was just doing this just for fun. Mm-hmm. But also, that's also the point of like, we wanted to create a community that we didn't feel was there at the time. And we wanted to do something that we feel. And we was out here just like, nobody's doing this and da-da-da-da-da-da. You got to create the space. If you create it, people will come.
I want to create this.
Virgil said that. Again, back to Virgil. Create the space and people will come. That man said, I could have a white room with nothing in it and put a pedestal and put a trash can on top of it and y'all would think that it was art. Mm. And he was not lying because people do that shit all the time. Yeah. Yes. But just even like it doesn't have to be. It can be so minimal, and you can really affect people. So always keep that in mind when you're trying to like just do something. I just learned that recently, so I'm still talking to myself when I'm saying this. Cheers to that.
He's so Flip is so annoying.
Yeah. Yeah, we're enlightened right now.
Wow.
Sorry, y'all.
This was like really great episode.
Great conversation.
Great conversation.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Amazing dialogue. Very enlightening.
Appreciate you for having me.
You just created this space.
That's my goal. That's my to do all the time.
I'm going to cry later.
I'm trying my best to create spaces for myself and for people like me. Because that's all I want. So annoying. You know, I just want to feel safe.
Yes. I just want to feel safe.
That's it.
Wow. Damn.
You have anything else for me? You want to ask me anything else? Before we wrap? Before we
I have a lot to ask you.
Yeah, let's go.
Well, I got to ask you on the other thing.
Okay. What on the what?
So you didn't read that email.
I did read the email. That's why I'm waiting. Is that
No.
That's not right now? Is that separate? Oh shit.
See, you did not read the email. Because it said that in the email. I'm fucking crying. These glasses hurt my eyes. I'm fucking crying. It's hurt my eyes and it's giving me a
reading is
headache.
Fundamental, y'all. I be saying that all the time.
That's why I kept
too.
saying you did not read the email.
I skimmed it.
See, that's what
I read the questions.
I skimmed it
because I needed
crazy.
to make sure that I had the questions, but I still.
Everyone does it, and they think that I'm asking the questions here, and I'm not.
I was glad. But I mean, I'm a water sign, so I'm gonna adapt. You would have never.
I'm gonna adapt.
Very, very pliable.
Oh gosh. Okay. I have the mark on my nose. Man.
You okay?
It was giving me a mean headache, but I survived.
You ate that.
I did. These glasses are so cute. I'm gonna start wearing these more.
Okay, so when do the questions happen? I mean, obviously we're still talking out here, but I just need to know. I mean, I'm assuming it's right after this. Yeah. Okay. I mean, I'm just asking, girl. Damn. Yes, I skimmed the email. I didn't read the whole thing. Damn.
Okay, got it. Black people.
Now I got it. Now I'm trying to.
Y'all, don't try to read it now. With the leg up. Y'all, this has been a really great episode.
Amazing. Thank you so much.
We are wrapping up this episode. Anything you want to leave? I mean, you dropped like ample bars.
Yeah, I don't really have. I
like
kind of did
ample bars.
All I want to say is that keep loving your heart. Love is infinite. Mm-hmm. I've been preaching that to all my friends recently, more than ever, because I think more people need to know that. I think people don't think that they can like love continuously and like keep loving, and they feel like, oh, once I've loved and somebody broke my heart or something fucked up, like now I can't go there anymore. And it's like, child, you can keep making love as much as you want to, because who said that you couldn't? Also, and just that's gonna make everybody else happy. All people want to do is be loved and accepted and just like feel validated and, you know, like do it because it matters and not because like people are gonna praise you for it. Yeah, and stay positive. Shout out to my sis Flocka. So that's it.
Put him in the tag too.
You know.
Y'all, this has been a very real episode. Thank y'all for tuning in. Thank y'all for creating space with us. I hope you all learned like ample just about yourselves and just about us too. Like it's always good to watch people who you can relate yourself to and just know that, like he said, like we are all human. We are all trying to find our way. I'm getting sappy because I'm thinking about so many things in my mind right now that you said on this episode.
Everybody just wants love.
And we all want love and to be heard and understood. And so I hope that you felt that just watching our interaction.
Yes.
So
Yes.
catch us next time.
Period.
Peace.
Yeah.